As a card-carrying member of one of the world's most influential dynasties, Will Rothschild has somehow managed to dodge both public scrutiny and the family drama, until fate decided he'd had enough peace and threw him headrest into the spotlight with all the grace of a giraffe on roller skates. In this video, we will delve into the eyebrow-raising revelations from the disturbing interview, along with some of the creepiest tales involving Jacob Rothschild and other heirs of this powerhouse clan. Trust us, this family's skeletons don't just rattle, they waltz. Firstly, let's begin with the news about the reclusive Rothschild. In a twist that no one saw coming, mostly because he was so reclusive no one even knew where to look, the untimely demise of Will Rothschild has the world buzzing. Who knew the guy who avoided the spotlight like it was a tax audit could suddenly steal it posthumously? A fire in Laurel Canyon on Wednesday left its mark not just on the historic neighborhood, but also on the storied Rothschild family, because apparently even centuries of natural power can't outwit a faulty wiring job. The victim, identified as William Rothschild, was reportedly a member of the famed banking dynasty, whose name is synonymous with wealth, philanthropy, and now, tragically, highly amiable real estate. The blaze broke out at Rothschild's unassuming Lookout Mountain Avenue home, proving that even a scion of global finance can appreciate the rustic charm of a slightly too rustic fixer-upper. According to the Los Angeles Fire Department, 45 firefighters wrestled the inferno into submission within 30 minutes, a feat requiring more teamwork than a Rothschild family trust meeting. But like a bad house guest, the fire wasn't ready to leave. Smoldering embers demanded the firefighters return the next day for an encore performance. While the Rothschild name is used in commanding boardrooms and hosting extravagant galas, this incident serves as a reminder that when it comes to a house fire, even global elites are just one bad smoke detector away from disaster. While the Rothschild name is steeped in grandeur, the burned-out residence urged a stark contrast to the image of luxury often associated with the family. Built in 1937, the 825-square-foot, two-bedroom home, valued at around $1 million, had become Rothschild's haven in his later years. Descriptions of the property, perched above street level and accessible via a long height of tiled stairs, painted a picture of a once charming home now reduced to a charred shell. The Rothschild family's illustrious history begins in 18th century Frankfurt, Germany, where Meyer Amschel Rothschild turned a modest banking operation into a financial empire that would make European aristocrats break into a nervous sweat every time they looked at their ledgers. Meyer's keen sense of business and unparalleled ability to make money faster than anyone could spend it laid the foundation for one of history's most influential dynasties. By the 19th century, the Rothschilds had established branches across England and France, wielding power in politics, finance, and international trade, with all the finesse of a maestro conducting an orchestra that also happened to owe them money. At the height of their fame, the Rothschilds weren't just the wealthiest family in the world. Their fortune was so vast that Scrooge McDuck's money bin looked like petty cash. Rumors swirled that they controlled everything from the weather to who wore the crown in Europe. Fast forward to today, and the family's once unique treasure trove has been parceled out among countless heirs, many of whom lead lives far removed from the towering mansions and high-stakes deals of their ancestors. They've diversified into industries like energy, real estate, and philanthropy, proving that even when you're absurdly rich, it's good to have a side hustle. For those who knew William Rothschild, however, the man affectionately called Will was a less international financier, and more the guy you'd call to borrow a lawnmower. Far from sipping champagne on a yacht while plotting his next corporate takeover, Will was known for simpler pursuits, like perfecting his barbecue technique and keeping a suspiciously large collection of garden gnomes. For a family whose name is synonymous with power and wealth, it's nice to know there's still room for a good old-fashioned dad joke. The fire erupted around 5 p.m. on Wednesday, proving once again that Ames have a knack for showing up uninvited and making themselves at home. The blaze rapidly consumed parts of the brick and stucco structure, as if auditioning for a role in the next disaster movie. Neighbors described the harrowing scene, with one witness recalling huge flames and the unmistakable sound of glass shattering, a fiery symphony no one wanted to hear. Emergency services arrived promptly, lights flashing and sirens wailing, to discover the property fully ablaze. Firefighters, clearly not ones to back down from a challenge, contained the inferno in just 30 minutes. However, the house was left in ruins, and tragically the body of Rothschild was discovered during the response. One neighbor, Dana Gladstone, who has lived in the area for years, recounted the chilling moment when he heard a woman exclaim in shock, saying it was awful. Gladstone speculated that she had likely just learned of Rothschild's death and remarked somberly that she was probably being informed about his passing. For those who knew him, William Rothschild was regarded as more than just a name associated with an illustrious legacy. Neighbors reportedly described him as a kind and approachable man who held a deep affection for his Afghan hound and frequently spoke about his alma mater, Yale University. Gladstone mentioned that Rothschild was particularly attached to his dog and added that he personally knew him as Will. Public records indicate that a William A. de Rothschild, listed as 87 years old, resided at the property. Another database suggests the owner may have been a 77-year-old man with a similar name. While official identification and the cause of death remain pending with the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner, neighbors are confident that the deceased is indeed Rothschild. Will Rothschild, neighbors recounted that he was an avid collector of vintage cars. His collection included a red Porsche once owned by basketball legend Michael Jordan, among other prized vehicles. Some of the cars were stored at his residence, while others were housed at a nearby property adorned with busts of historical luminaries such as Raphael and Michelangelo, and equipped with multiple security cameras. Reports suggest that Jordan's red Porsche, one of several 911S he owned, sold at auction last year for $500,000. The local fire department reported no additional injuries in the incident involving Rothschild. However, a neighbor mentioned that Rothschild's dog had not been seen since the tragedy. Rothschild's death comes at a time of renewed intrigue and perhaps a touch of macabre irony as Italian prosecutors dust to a decades-old case colder than the snowstorm in which it began. Back in November 1980, Sir Evelyn de Rothschild's ex-wife, Jeanette Bishop May, and her secretary, Gabriella Guerin, vanished during a snowstorm in Italy's Marche region. 14 months later, hunters stumbled across their decomposed remains in the Sibillini Mountains, prompting two reactions: shock and the grim realization that wild boars aren't just a nuisance for truffle hunters. For over 40 years, the mystery of what really happened to the two women has barred investigators. Was it a murder, an ill-fated hike, or a tragic misunderstanding involving a secret boar society taking revenge on humanity? Speculation has run wild and probably had a few too many espressos along the way. Now, in November 2024, Italian prosecutors have reopened the case as a double murder investigation. While this brings a serious edge to the story, it also raises some curious questions. Why now? Did someone finally decode the diary of a boar witness? Or did the ghost of a true sning dog whisper secrets from beyond? Whatever the reason, this dark chapter in the Rothschild family saga is once again making headlines because nothing says renewed interest quite like a side of unresolved scandal served with a sprinkle of wild boar lore. Meanwhile, the stories and mysterious death cases of the death of both Will and the former Lady de Rothschild have raised the eyebrows of the public. For many, it was difficult to reconcile the image of the friendly neighbor with the tragic circumstances of his passing. As the community grappled with the loss, there was an outpouring of grief and disbelief. In his disbelief, one member of the public posted on X, which, through his comments, pointed out that none of the stories clearly add up. Apparently, aside from the unfortunate demise of these two Rothschilds, there is also the death that paved the way for fortune. Will Rothschild's death isn't the only one from the prominent family that has sparked widespread attention. Another notable loss was that of Jacob Rothschild, who, prior to his passing, made headlines for his bold decision to break away from the family's renowned banking dynasty and establish his own legacy in the world of finance. Jacob Rothschild's decision to leave the family business was not one made lightly. It was a bold move that challenged the very core of the Rothschild tradition, a tradition that had been built on family unity and control. By the late 1960s, Jacob had become increasingly aware of the need for change within the family banking empire. The financial world was evolving, and he believed that the Rothschilds needed to adapt to maintain their influence and success. However, his vision for modernization and expansion was met with resistance from within the family, particularly from his cousin Evelyn de Rothschild and his father Victor, who were staunch advocates of preserving family control. In 1980, after years of internal conflict and negotiation, Jacob made the momentous decision to break away from N.M. Rothschild and Sons. This decision marked a significant turning point in his life and career. He established his own financial entity, J. Rothschild and Company, which would later become known as RIT Capital Partners. This move was not just about creating a new business, it was about redeeming what it meant to be a Rothschild in the modern world. Jacob's departure from the family bank was a statement of independence and proof of his belief in innovation and progress. The challenges Jacob faced in establishing his own company were immense. He was stepping away from a legacy that had been carefully cultivated over generations ambitions, and he was venturing into uncharted territory. However, his determination and vision were unwavering. He sought to create a financial institution that was as much about intellectual capital as it was about monetary wealth. In 1965, he famously stated that they must strive to become a repository of intellect as much as of wealth, emphasizing his vision of blending financial expertise with creative innovation. Under Jacob's leadership, RIT Capital Partners quickly became a formidable player in the world of global finance. His approach to investment was characterized by a keen understanding of market dynamics and a willingness to take calculated risks. He built a diverse portfolio that included ventures in various industries, from technology to real estate. His success as a financier was not only measured by the wealth he accumulated, but also by the influence he wielded in shaping financial strategies and trends. Riding the wave of his many achievements, he nearly decided to retire in the grandest way possible, at the advanced and respectable age of 87. Some say he left behind a legacy. Others think he just wanted to avoid any more birthday candles catching re. Today, the legacy of the Rothschild family is carried on by the remaining heirs, who continue to uphold the values and principles that have denned the family for centuries. Hannah Rothschild, for example, not only contributes to the arts and literature, but also chairs Yad HaNadiv, the family's philanthropic foundation in Israel. Her work re-acts the family's long-standing commitment to philanthropy and cultural enrichment. Nat Rothschild, with his extensive experience in finance, embodies the family's tradition of financial expertise and innovation. As the executive chairman of Volex, he continues to influence the business world, much like his ancestors did. His connection to the family's legacy is evident in his approach to business and finance, which echoes the strategic thinking and foresight that characterized the Rothschilds' rise to prominence. Lynn Forrester de Rothschild, through her leadership in media and politics, continues to shape public discourse and policy, re-acting the family's historical influence in these areas. Her work exemplifies the Rothschilds' ability to adapt to changing times while maintaining their core values and principles. Hannah Rothschild, the eldest child of Lord Jacob Rothschild and Serena Dunn Rothschild, is a prominent figure in the arts and literature. Her contributions to the cultural landscape are proof of the family's long-standing commitment to the arts. As an accomplished author, Hannah has penned several novels, including House of Trelawney and The Probability of Love, which have garnered critical acclaim. Her literary work often explores themes of wealth, power, and family dynamics, echoing the complexities of her own heritage. Beyond her literary pursuits, Hannah has made significant contributions to the art world through her role as the first female chair of the National Gallery in London. During her tenure from 2015 to 2019, she championed initiatives to make art more accessible to the public, re-acting the Rothschilds' tradition of philanthropy and cultural enrichment. Her leadership at the National Gallery and her ongoing role as chair of Yad HaNadiv, the Rothschild family's philanthropic foundation in Israel, re-act her dedication to fostering cultural and educational initiatives. Nathaniel Nat Rothschild, the youngest child and only son of Jacob and Serena, has carved a distinct path in the world of finance and business. With a background in hedge funds and investment, Nat has demonstrated the financial acumen that has been a hallmark of the Rothschild family for generations. As the executive chairman of Volex, an electrical manufacturing company, he continues to influence the business landscape with his strategic vision and innovative approach. Nat's career is marked by his ability to identify and capitalize on emerging markets and opportunities, much like his ancestors who built the family's banking empire. His work in finance and business ventures reflects the Rothschilds' enduring legacy of entrepreneurship and financial expertise. Despite his wealth and influence, Nat maintains a relatively low profile, allowing his work to speak for itself. Lynn Forrester de Rothschild, the widow of Sir Evelyn de Rothschild, is a formidable force in media and politics. As the CEO of E.L. Rothschild, she oversees a diverse portfolio of investments, including media properties such as The Economist Group. Her leadership in the media industry underscores the Rothschilds' historical influence in shaping public discourse and policy. David Meyer de Rothschild, an environmental activist and adventurer, represents the family's commitment to innovation and sustainability. His work in raising awareness about climate change and promoting sustainable practices re-acts the Rothschilds' ability to adapt to contemporary challenges while maintaining their core values. David's ventures, such as The Lost Explorer, a sustainable clothing and lifestyle brand, demonstrate his dedication to environmental causes and his desire to leave a positive impact on the world. The modern-day Rothschild heirs are united by their shared commitment to philanthropy, innovation, and cultural enrichment. Their diverse pursuits and contributions continue to uphold the family's legacy, ensuring that the Rothschild name remains synonymous with wealth, influence, and positive change. Following Lord Jacob Rothschild's death at the age of 87, the focus now turns to the heirs to the family fortune, worth an estimated $1 billion. Amid the individual successes and influence of the remaining heirs of the Rothschild family, a collection of the household's treasures was auctioned in New York, yielding a whopping whooping sum of $62 million. In October 2023, Christie's New York hosted an unprecedented auction of treasures from the Rothschild family's private collection, amassing over $62.6 million. This event marked the first dedicated North American sale of works from the French branch of the esteemed banking dynasty. The collection featured a diverse array of art, furniture, silver, ceramics, and jewelry, many pieces acquired in the 19th century by Baron James Mayer de Rothschild, his wife Betty, and their son Alphonse. These items had remained within the family for generations, exemplifying the distinctive Le Goût Rothschild, a blend of luxury and domesticity that has influenced interior design since the 19th century. A reflection of the auction was Gerrit Douw's 17th century painting, a young woman holding a hare with a boy at a window, which sold for over $7 million. Additionally, a pair of late Louis XV gilt walnut fauteuils à la reine by Louis Delanois fetched $4.4 million, setting a record for 18th century European chairs, only to be surpassed later in the sale by another Delanois pair, which sold for $6.2 million. The auction also featured a rare Dutch silver gilt mounted Nautilus cup from 1607, which sold for $1.5 million and was acquired by the Cleveland Museum of Art. A Roman sardonyx cameo portrait of Emperor Claudius achieved $2.1 million, significantly exceeding its estimate. This landmark event attracted bidders from around 40 nations, with millennials comprising approximately 15% of participants, underscoring the enduring allure of the Rothschild legacy and their exceptional taste in art and collectibles. But the question of how the family was able to manage their wealth has remained a lingering topic. The Rothschild family, renowned for their extensive banking legacy, manages their wealth through a network of private banking and asset management institutions, primarily Rothschild & Co. and the Edmond de Rothschild Group. Headquartered in Paris and London, Rothschild & Co. operates across various financial sectors, including investment banking, private banking, asset management, and private equity. The firm offers services such as wealth management, mergers and acquisitions advisory, and capital markets expertise. In 2023, Rothschild & Co. reported revenues of €2.54 billion and managed assets totaling €108 billion. To expand its global footprint, Rothschild & Co. has recently opened a wealth management office in Dubai, aiming to serve affluent families in the Gulf region. Additionally, the firm has launched a range of fund of funds focused on exchange-traded funds, ETFs, targeting investors seeking cost-effective investment solutions. Established in 1953 by Edmond de Rothschild, this Swiss-based financial institution specializes in private banking and asset management. The group emphasizes a conviction-driven investment approach, and as of 2022 managed CHF 158 billion in assets, with a presence in 14 countries. Under the leadership of Ariane de Rothschild, who became CEO in March 2023, the group has pursued strategic partnerships to enhance its service offerings. Notably, in 2021, Edmond de Rothschild Group acquired a 42.5% stake in the UK-based Hottinger Group, a wealth management firm, to strengthen its position in the European market. Additionally, the family manages assets under the Edmond de Rothschild Heritage label, which includes wineries, luxury hotels and restaurants, re-acting their commitment to preserving cultural heritage. Through these diversified ventures, the Rothschild family continues to uphold and grow their financial legacy, adapting to contemporary markets while maintaining their historical influence in global finance. Let's also take a closer look at some of the creepiest Rothschild interview. The Rothschilds are like the banking world's Bigfoot, powerful, mysterious, and rarely seen, unless you happen to stumble upon one at a high society gala or a charity auction. Known for their legendary wealth and influence, they've mastered the neat art of staying out of the limelight. Interviews with them are rare, but when it happens, you're left both surprised and suspicious. Sure, they're ridiculously wealthy, with a history in banking and finance longer than your grandma's bedtime stories, but their secrecy has sparked more conspiracy theories than Area 51. Honestly, you'd think they moonlight as international spies the way people talk about them. Occasionally, one brave Rothschild will step into the spotlight, usually to discuss their charitable work or some noble cause. But don't get too excited, it's more of a here's a crumb, now back to your theories vibe. The rest of the time, they're keeping their financial moves and personal lives locked up tighter than Fort Knox. They're not just playing hard to get, they've perfected the art of being an enigma. On one occasion, Jacob Rothschild encountered an interviewer who pressed him on his family's historical role in global banking and their alleged influence over international political political systems, often linked to theories about a so-called New World Order. The interviewer accused Rothschild of being part of a secretive elite aiming to establish a one-world government, framing the accusations in a confrontational tone and raising questions about the Rothschild family's purported dominance in global airs. One of the initial questions centered on Rothschild's attendance at the Bilderberg meeting. He calmly responded that he had not attended but noted that his cousin had participated in the previous year's event. As Mr. Rothschild made his way to his car, the interviewer called out, requesting a few more minutes for additional questions. Pausing mid-stride, Mr. Rothschild turned back with the look of a man deciding whether to listen or bolt. Curiosity won, but just barely. The interviewer then asked if the Federal Reserve was one of the rumored organizations involved in inhumane global projects, specifically noting that it was allegedly started by the Rothschild family. Mr. Rothschild firmly denied the claim, adding a polite chuckle that suggested he'd heard it all before, then continued walking to his car with the determination of a man fleeing an unsolicited lecture on conspiracy theories. The interviewer pressed further, asking for the source of the Federal Reserve information. At this point, Mr. Rothschild waved them off, signaling that he was done with the conversation, but the interviewer followed him. The interviewer then insinuated that We Are Change Media had information about the Rothschild family committing acts against society. Mr. Rothschild paused, seemingly considering how to respond. But how could one answer such bold accusations? Before he could reply, the interviewer launched into another statement, declaring that the New World Order had no legitimacy and accusing robber barons and big bankers of looting the economy through the Federal Reserve. Conspiracy theorists often interpret Rothschild's silence in the video as a tacit admission of guilt or complicity. However, the more plausible explanation is that Rothschild chose not to dignify the unfounded accusations with a response. In yet another interview, he spoke about his cousin's crucial role in what he describes as the miracle of the Balfour Declaration. The Balfour Declaration stands as a monumental document in the annals of history, a mere 67 words that would forever alter the landscape of the Middle East and the destiny of the Jewish people. To truly grasp the significance of this declaration, we must journey back to the early 20th century, a time of global upheaval and shifting political landscapes. As the Balfour Declaration was being meticulously crafted behind the scenes, a network of personal connections and influential figures played a crucial role in its realization. Among these figures was Dorothy de Rothschild, a name that may not be as widely recognized as others, yet her contributions were undeniably significant in the events leading up to this historic declaration. One of Dorothy's most significant contributions was her connection with Chaim Weizmann, the charismatic Zionist leader whose scientific achievements had earned him a place at the British government's table. Dorothy recognized Weizmann's potential to influence British policy and took it upon herself to facilitate his integration into British society. She provided him with invaluable advice on how to navigate the complex social and political landscape, ensuring that his voice was heard by those in positions of power. Dorothy's eorts extended beyond mere introductions. She was actively involved in shaping the narrative and strategy that would ultimately lead to the Balfour Declaration. Her correspondence with Weizmann and other Zionist leaders reveals a woman deeply engaged in the cause, offering insights and guidance on how best to present their case to the British government. Her letters, preserved at Waddesdon Manor, are proof of her strategic acumen and her unwavering dedication to the Zionist movement. As the Balfour Declaration moved closer to fruition, Dorothy's influence became increasingly apparent. Her ability to connect people and ideas was instrumental in building the alliances necessary to secure British support for a Jewish homeland. She understood the importance of cultivating relationships with influential figures within the British establishment, and her efforts in this regard were nothing short of extraordinary. Through her actions, Dorothy de Rothschild exemplified the power of personal connections and the impact that individuals can have on the course of history. In a July 2023 interview with Vogue, novelist Hannah Rothschild delved into the intricate dynamics of family secrets and the allure of elegant escapism, themes central to her novel High Time. The book revisits the Trelawney family, an eccentric and naturally troubled British aristocratic clan last introduced in her earlier work, House of Trelawney. Rothschild expressed a deep attachment to these characters, particularly Aisha, the intelligent and unworldly illegitimate daughter whom she felt deserved a narrative of her own. In her 2020 novel House of Trelawney, Rothschild portrays the decline of an English aristocratic family residing in a crumbling castle. The narrative examines themes of financial ruin, familial duty, and personal aspirations, offering a satirical yet moving depiction of a once grand lineage grappling with modern challenges. Rothschild revisits the Trelawney family in her 2023 novel High Time, set during the months leading up to the Brexit referendum. The story focuses on Aisha, the secret daughter of the late Enyon Trelawney, who marries the older, domineering banker Tomlinson Sleet. As Aisha uncovers shocking family secrets, she devises a plan to reclaim her autonomy and unite her fractured family. The novel combines biting satire with poignant moments, re-acting Rothschild's talent for weaving complex family narratives with themes of personal liberation and elegant escapism. While Hannah's interview with Vogue may directly not have been the creepiest, it is clear that through her novels, Rothschild owes readers a lens into the luxurious yet troubled worlds of aristocratic families, using wit and empathy to explore the universal themes of love, loss, and the enduring quest for identity amidst familial expectations. If you enjoyed watching this video, then go ahead and click on any of the cards on your screen for more.